ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the School of Science. My name is Luke, and this is not the Bramley Moore update. Sorry, or even the new Everton Stadium update. It's not a post-match, not a pre-match. What is it? So what it is, we're just going to be talking very quickly about the whole rumours and everything about Everton's potential new investors and all the stuff that's been circulating around them. So, to cut it nice and briefly for you, it's basically 5 people have offered interest to Everton Football Club. They've passed this on to Farhad Moshiri, and a couple of them are apparently in advanced talks. So when the exclusivity deal had broken down with 777, this pretty much, as we know, a lot of the opposition fans, like the Man U fans, Liverpool fans, Man City fans, Chelsea fans, all the arseholes and all that, around the internet were basically saying, this is Everton going into administration. This cannot be any further from the truth. Everton are nowhere near in debt. I mean, if you were to put it into the scale of an actual human being, right now, this is basically, they've just hit their range overdrafts a couple of times over the past 3-4 months. So the credit score isn't looking too great, but it's not the end of the world. We'll put it like that. But yeah. But before we kick things off, I just want a very quick word from our sponsor. How's it going, guys? If you like any of the gear that I'm wearing or any of the stuff on the back wall and you want some of this, why not go over to Forever Everton, who is also called Rob, on his Twitter. He has a link to his website. It's also in the description down below. He has a wide range of stuff. So he has t-shirts, he has mugs, he has coasters, he has art, he has all sorts. Go check him out. He is a very reasonable person. He makes amazing stuff at very reasonable prices, and he's also got a 20% discount code, which is in the description as well, for anyone who watches this channel. It is ScienceTV20. So go and give him a check out. Honestly, he is an amazing guy. He makes amazing stuff, and I really want all of us Evertonians to give him as much support as possible. So yeah, back to the video. So yeah, the 5 people that are interested in Everton, these are not just individuals, they are also consortiums and investment groups. So one of them being Andy Bell and George Downing. So they are making what is known as the Toffee investment firm, I believe. I can't quote that exactly, I haven't got it in front of me. I've got a couple of keynotes off to me right here, but from what I've noted down real quickly, it's pretty much, I've called it the Toffee investment firm. So they've got that. Now, bear in mind, George Downing and Andy Bell, they've got about a combined net worth of about £900 million. So they haven't got an awful lot of money. They're not billionaires by any means, but they are massive Evertonians. But the good thing is, you actually have got someone who's sitting sort of in the wings behind them. This one being Michael Dell. Now, Michael Dell is the owner or CEO of Dell Computer Companies. And he's got a rough net worth right now of £95 billion. So this sounds great. It sounds amazing and all that. But I want to just take this one very quickly. What a person's net worth is doesn't mean jack when it comes to actual running of a football club. Please bear that in mind. I mean, look at Manchester City and Newcastle right now. Newcastle and Man City have got very much comparable wealth when it comes to their owners. They both are basically run by governments. The only thing is, though, Newcastle right now haven't got sponsorship deals or an influx of money coming in via sponsorships, prize money, TV revenue, or anything like that, or sponsorships again. Whereas Manchester City, they've perfected the craft of it. They've got Etihad providing them, I believe it's like £100 million per season. They've also got the prize money coming in, TV revenue, all the sponsorship deals. They have stadium sponsorships. You have training ground sponsorships, sides of shirts, training deals. Nike, I believe it is Nike, Puma, or someone, whoever it is, their kit manufacturers. These guys are providing ludicrous amounts of money into that club. That's how they're able to spend whatever the hell they want, and financial fair play doesn't even get sniffed at. Also, they obviously cooked the books a few times, but we're not going to talk about that. But on the other hand, you've got the likes of Newcastle right now. So Newcastle don't have these sorts of sponsorships or anything like that in place right now. And they're currently going to have to run out their contracts with these sponsorship deals and all that in order for them to get new things in, which the Qatari government obviously will put into it. And it'll allow them to have a little bit more spending money. That's how they do it with the football clubs. But in regards to Everton, what's going to happen when it comes in? So let's say, for argument's sake, we're going to use the Toffee investment firm. So let's say Michael Dell comes into it. He says, right, I'm going to pump X amount of money into this investment firm. They're going to go and buy Everton Football Club. what they then need to do is they need to sort a board out. So their board would have to be basically, you're going to have to look for people who are passionate about the club and also have got a very good footballing knowledge in order to try and turn a profit. Now, they could come in and asset strip. So basically what they would do then is just make the club as profitable as possible, sell off the stadium to someone, have it so that any money that comes in, a set amount would go into the club itself, and then the rest would go into their back pocket. That's how they would do it in terms of asset stripping it. It sounds bad, but it's not amazing, but it's not as bad as it sounds. So that's one way they could approach it. Or, as I would have a high belief that Andy Bell and George Downham would do, because they are massive Evertonians, what would happen is they would then, once they get into there, they bring really experienced people who would come into the boards. They would try and basically allow the board's directors to do their jobs properly, instead of them having basically some arsehole at the top of the ladder who's saying, no, I know how to run football. This is how we're going to do it. We're going to do it this, and this, and watch us slide down the table rather excessively. They're going to allow the people who can do the job to do the job. Let the director of football do his job. Let the managers do their job. Let the scouts do their job. Don't listen to some super agent who's whispering sweet nothings into your ear, recommending bloody no-mark people like Jibril Sidibe, bloody Alcaraz, was he? Was that one of them? Who was bloody loads of rubbish. Fucking Ghazi, Dele Alli. People like that. Recommending absolute drosh football players and letting the scouts actually find decent football players, bringing them in, and we build them up into something. And then if we sell them off for a profit, we sell them off for a profit. But yeah, so I've talked an awful lot about the Toffee Investment Fair and Michael Dell. Who are the other ones? So the other one being MSP. So the likes of MSP, they'll probably use their loan to Everton Football Club as leverage to buy the club at a cheaper rate. And then from there, they probably sell off that debt as shares into the club. So I believe they call it equity. So you basically make equity into the club. So they just say, right, that loan we sent to you, right, we're going to can that. We're going to take the loss on that. But instead, you're going to give us a set amount of shares and we're going to have more of an ownership in the club. Now, how can they have more of an ownership in the club? I mean, they can generate more shares. So what that happens then is every individual share gets diluted ever so slightly as a result. So they would then basically have more of a share in the club. So let's say it would go from being 94.1% that Farhad Moshiri would be selling onto them. It would end up being about 95 to 96%. And basically down the ladder there, anyone who's got, say, 10%, it'd end up being less. It'd probably end up being, 9.4% rather than being, 10%. It would work like that. That's how it would work in that regard. And then we've got other people as well, like BTT and MSD Partners. So they are people who had interest. So I believe they actually, I'm not sure whether they were an American firm that were separate from 777 or they were people who had investments in 777. But I do believe it's them and Capital Holdings, Advantage Capital Holdings. One of them had shares in 777. They've actually stripped the shares from them and they're now looking to be the primary holder of Everton Football Club. One of those two. I'm not too 100% sure about them. I've had a little rummage around about them and they're not sporting. They haven't got like a sporting background, so I wouldn't really be looking at them. I'd be closer more towards MSP because they've got a couple of heads people who are actually English football lovers or people who've got a massive interest in it. I'm sorry, this bloody shirt fell down a couple of times. I need to have a look at getting some proper adhesive tape onto it to keep that thing up. But neighbours are making a bit of noise, sorry. But yeah, so those two, not exactly football based or sporting based. So I feel like if they were to come into it, it would be a very similar situation to how Bill Kenwright or Farhad Moshiri did it. Then again, it could end up be a Shigman Sur situation, They haven't got a football background, come in, they just basically bring the people in, they say, right, you've got the footballing background, you do the job. And apparently there's one other person as well, or one other business, who have actually offered interest and they've withheld their identity for some reason. I don't understand full well why someone would say, oh yeah, I'm interested in football club, but I'm not telling you who I am. Maybe it might be something to do with the fact that there could be an entity that has shares, and if they decide to turn around and say, oh yeah, actually I'm going to buy Everton Football Club, that might influence their actual shares in the company. I don't know. It's either that or they could be an investment firm who have other investment firms sitting behind them And if they express interest, they could potentially lose out on Everton Football Club because someone else who's invested in them pulls out and then goes and invests in Everton. It's one of them. It's a very confusing time, but I know a lot of people are really concerned. The whole looming threat. Everyone was going, oh, Everton go on administration. Everton needs this amount of money just to keep the lights on. Everton needs to do this. Everton needs to do that. Don't stress. Honestly, do not worry. Right now, they are basically talking about Jared Branthwaite potentially leaving because of financial fair play. But if things get done at an accelerated rate, like the fit and proper proceedings and everything like that get done nice and quickly, it could potentially be a situation where someone right now is offering X amount of money to buy Everton Football Club. They come in, they pass the fit and proper, and they could write off certain things and just put his equity into the club. They could do something like that. And then from there, what he ends up having is, I don't know, maybe we'd end up having to lose, not lose stands. Certain stands could end up having separate names. So rather than, let's say for argument's sake, the South Stand, it ends up being the Dixie Dean South Stand. It could end up becoming the, Tesla South Stand. Or let's say the away end. Instead of it being called the away end or, away day guys, it could end up being called the Bell End. It'd be great for the Newcastle fans, wouldn't it? They'd feel right at home. But yeah, guys, honestly, there's absolutely no sweat about Everton Football Club. We are in a good situation right now. We're not in an amazing situation because we're not going into European football, but right now we are building into something brilliant. Now, if you remember last season when I was talking about the season ahead, I said I would like for us to be aiming around mid-table, anywhere between 14th and 12th. No, sorry, 14th and 8th. I gave us a nice broad area and I said anywhere between there would be great. In all fairness, we finished 15th, we fell out of it, but if you were to take the points deduction thing and throw that out the window and give us the 8 points back, we finished around 10th, so it fell well within my margin of where I was expecting us to be and what I would like us to be. So I think with Sean Dyche staying with us for the foreseeable, he can certainly build on this, and if we don't lose too many people, I do think we can actually grow into something rather nice. I mean, a couple of loans here and there, and we try and bolster squads. And I understand we've lost a couple of people from the youth squads. We've lost the likes of Andre Gomez. We're looking at getting Jack Harrison back on loan, so that'll be great. I'll be honest and say, why don't we experiment and say, instead of having Dwight McNeil on the left, him on the right, throw him on the left, put Dwight McNeil centrewards, and try Lewis Dobbin out on the right. I mean, he's a young lad. He's got a lot of potential. Experiment a bit. We've got pre-season friendlies coming up. We can definitely experiment with this. And because Jared Branthwaite's not in the England squad, he's going to get a proper pre-season. So, yay, get in. But yeah, guys, don't worry about it. No doom and gloom. Things are looking up. So yeah, take care. Have a great day. Up the fucking toffees. Also, there will be a video coming out soon with the Everton Stadium update. It might not be on its normal time of 9 o'clock tomorrow, but I'm going to try and get out there. It might be on Monday or it might be Sunday evening. It's just right now the weather's not exactly playing ball. But yeah, guys, again, take care, have a great week, and peace.